All right, everybody, we're going to introduce you to something called Results Only Roundtable. As you know, the staff and I just went to a weekend seminar with a whole bunch of presenters. The trainers all went to Rachel Cosgrove, who's been a friend of Kelly and mine for years. She did, what was the name of her?
Coaching Women Over 40.
Coaching Women Over 40. So while we were talking about it at the staff meeting, I thought, you know what, this is just stupid. We should record this and then let a lot of the women in our gym fit a lot of what we were talking about. So Tatiana, what was one thing that you learned in Rachel's presentation?
One of the things that I learned from Rachel's presentation was the mental difficulty that happens when women go through menopause.
Okay.
Oftentimes they'll feel like they're crazy because they're gaining a bunch of weight, they're not sleeping well, they're feeling just like the world is beating them up. So it's something that like we as coaches have to work on to understand and kind of remind them that they're not crazy. It's totally okay to feel the way that you are.
You do realize your results only many of the women here are crazy.
Naturally, yes.
Sorry. Anything else to add about like the whole like premenopausal, menopausal thing? You guys can add in later if you have opinions as well.
Just to focus on the things that you can control. Like I said, it's mentally challenging that their bodies are changing in different ways. However, they should really just focus on things that they can control, like what they eat, what they drink, the sleep their sleep, the stress that they go through, and things like that.
Awesome. Gracie, we'll kind of go around the room. What was something you learned?
So building off what she said, there are 7 controllables that women can control in their life. It is exercise, food, drinks, stress, sleep, recovery, and community. One of the biggest things that I noticed was sleep. Sleep has a huge impact on your hormones, and your hormones, as you guys know, during menopause and premenopause are fluctuating all the time. So some things we talked about was increased cortisol, increased ghrelin, which increases your appetite, so you will not feel as, you'll feel more hungry than you normally are, decreased glucose tolerance, decreased insulin sensitivity, and then decreased leptin were things that we noticed. Another thing with sleep is that no alcohol after 8 p.m. seemed to be a big talk that Rachel talked about with helping women fall asleep easier, stay asleep easier, and then wake up feeling better the next morning.
All right, so that it's really impossible to ignore hormones.
Yeah.
If you're training after the age of 40.
Yeah.
Stay on the same path, go down a different path, whatever you want, Sydney.
So I guess I'll do a little bit of both. Of the 7 things that Gracie said are the controllables, the 2 that would have to be kind of overarching, most important, are going to be exercise first, and then your sleep. Again, going off what Gracie said, results need sleep, and whether your results are weight loss or muscle gain or improved mood and mental health, you need sleep. So that's something that we have heard from some of our clients, some of you guys say, and that we heard Rachel say. Sleep seems like it is uncontrollable, but it can be, and there are ways that you can get better sleep, which means there are ways that you can actually get the results that you're looking for. And hormones are one of those things, figuring out how we can understand them, because we're your guys' trainers, and it's a complex topic for us too. So we have things that we need to learn, but we also understand that there's some things that happen with your hormones that when it gets thrown off in one place, everything else feels like it's going to get thrown off, but that's normal. And there's tools that we can use to help get through that.
So while I ask you guys to think of maybe another 1 or 2 things, just for all of the clients at Results Only, remember that our job, we can help with training, obviously, that's what our job is, and we can guide you through nutrition, and we can guide you through, other things and have conversations about hormones. But one of the things that we always talk about here is that, once you get to a certain age, you should probably be getting a hormone panel regularly when you do blood work. And I say this all the time, and I'll use this opportunity if you can see this, but your normal balances are going to be in a normal range of this will be on the low end, this will be on the high end. And obviously, you're not always going to be perfectly in the middle. But if they say you're in the normal range and you're really close to below average or really close to above average, that just might be that day, and on any given day you might be higher or lower than that. So you really have to find a good person in your network who will help you. I will tell you that we have some doctors that we've referred out to so we can help with this. So just give, if this is something that you think is going on with you, let us know. Who has another thing? Let's move off of hormones. Anything away from that?
All right, I have one. Exercise. I think a big misconception sometimes for not just women, but men in the fitness industry that has kind of grown from social media influence is the impact of cardio on losing fat. And she made a huge point during this presentation to more so focus on strength training, progressive overload, increasing intensity, increasing volume. So that means increasing the weight you're lifting, increasing the amount of reps that you're doing, continually trying to push yourself in the strength training as opposed to only focusing on cardio for fat loss.
Yeah, because there's like a big misconception that a lot of people have that after 40 you don't gain muscle and that you stop gaining muscle after a certain age. However, you're always gaining muscle and you should always try to gain muscle because there's really no maintaining anymore. Time is against you. You should always aim to gain muscle and lift heavy weights.
So to just tag on to that, I'm looking at Gracie's notes, and one of the things she wrote down is a person loses 50% of lean muscle mass between the ages of 20 and 90. That is a true statement, but that's just if you do nothing. Like if you're working against that, like Tatiana said, you can gain muscle. But that also is predicated on the fact that you're training 4 or 5 days a week with strength training. It's nice that you walk your dog and go on hikes, but you're going to lose muscle unless you're doing 4 to 5 days a week of strength training. Any one more thing we want to end on?
Probably picking, sorry, you had something.
I'll go after you do.
Okay,
All
well,
right, you're going to get 2 more now.
Yeah.
I was just gonna say picking something different to measure your success. So no longer looking at the scale to measure your success, looking at more so the weight that you're pushing, maybe even dropping sizes as opposed to just plain losing weight would be a better fit for women to track their progress than just looking at the scale.
Longtime members of Results Only know we would rather have you try and fit in a pair of jeans than make a certain weight. So let's just, if you're newer to us and you're watching this, we use data like putting you on an in-body for a reason, but we'd really rather you worry more about, fitting into your clothes better and feeling like you look better than being a certain number. Sydney, you wanted to grab one more, so go right ahead.
Yeah, it's kind of going off the topic of exercise and lifting heavier weights and pushing yourself. We know, and just to have some light humor, I know that we tell you guys this all the time, but it's very important to have a proper warm-up and a proper cool-down at the end of your workout, and this is actually coming straight from Rachel Cosgrove's presentation, that the warm-up and the cool-down are so important that if you were to miss, like at her gym, if you were to miss warm-up and cool-down, that actually cuts into your workout time, and you then have to use your workout time to do proper warm-up and cool-down. And all that goes to the point of recovery, which we talked about, a little bit of sleep, and sleep is one of the pieces of recovery, but you gotta take care of your tissues, and you gotta take care of your flexibility and your mobility, because without flexibility and mobility, we can't actually fully train strength, and without being able to fully train strength, you can't get those gains in muscle tissue. So it does come down to the things that seem unimportant sometimes.
So at the risk of this being very long, welcome to the first rendition of Results Only Roundtable. We'll do more of these as we go through staff meetings and talk about the things that we've learned and how we're going to implement them for you guys. And by all means, everyone was there, ask questions, feel free to reach out and say, can you tell me more about any one of these topics that we talked about?
Ask us in class, after class, after class.
Or in class, just Gracie's classes.
Have a good
Only
day.
me.